Hello everyone, and thank you very much for coming to this event. My name is Judita, and I'm the Industry Event Coordinator at Shortwaves Festival. Today's event is a part of This is Short program called For Perspectives, where each involved festival interprets the theme of new challenges for film festivals. Shortwaves Festival itself is a part of a network called European Short Film Network, together with Go Short from the Netherlands, Vienna Shorts from Austria, and Film Festival Oberhausen from Germany. Thus, when we were interpreting the theme of new challenges for film festivals, we immediately thought of discussing the topic of festival networks, their importance for the industry, and their future. This is the reason we invited our today's guests, Marzena Cieślik from Creative Europe Media Desk Poland, Andrea Lenz, the project manager at Film Festival Cottbus, Masha Markowicz, industry manager at Sarajevo Film Festival, and Anna Pereira from Doc Alliance, an extensions coordinator at Doc Lisboa. The discussion will be moderated by Niels Ketelaars from our very own European Short Film Network. At the end of the discussion, we will have around 10 minutes for questions from the audience, so you can write any questions you have right here in our Zoom Q&A chat. Before I give the floor, or rather the screen, to our panelists, I'd like to invite you all to our other screenings and events. The audience in Poznan can luckily attend them physically in the cinemas, but the rest of you can enjoy our program online on our Shortwaves platform, as well as This is Short platform. We still have 2 days to go and lots of incredible films to see. And now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guests and give the voice to Marzena Cieślik.
Good early afternoon, everybody. I cannot switch on my camera for some reason.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah. All right, it's working now.
Oh,
hi. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be a guest of this wonderful initiative supported by Creative Europe program. So I would like to shortly introduce the Creative Europe program, the new edition of Creative Europe program that was launched a couple of weeks ago. I would try to share my screen. I hope it's working. All right. So yeah, the Creative Europe program is a program of European Union that supports creative, cultural, and audiovisual sectors in Europe with the very much increased budget for this edition, this 7 years edition, 2021-2027. It would be able to support even more initiatives and to help the industries to be back on track after this difficult year of pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. The Creative Europe program objectives are to promote cultural and linguistic diversity of Europe, to help develop the audience for European works. It's one of its priorities is also to help to develop European professionals' competences in terms of creative, cultural, and audiovisual sector, and strengthen the competitiveness of European sector internationally, comparing to the markets in other continents such as, I don't know, US, Asia, and so forth. It's very worth mentioning that this edition of Creative Europe program, it also has other very strong objectives, which are the greening of the industries. So it would support all the initiatives that have this topic as one of the priorities. Also, the inclusion and diversity would be one of the priorities. such as collaboration. And we are here today to talk about it. More and to show the great examples of the collaboration between European film festivals. So the Creative Europe program is divided into three strands: media that supports audiovisual sector, culture supporting cultural and cultural sectors, and cross-sectoral strand which supports the initiatives that are somewhere in the borderline of media and culture. And thinking about the media schemes, there are a lot. Media supports audiovisual sector in a very wild way, and we are here today to talk about the film festivals in a context of a network of European film festivals, which is one of the new actions that actually happened last year. And they shall be developed in the upcoming years. This year, Creative Europe program media supports individual film festivals, but the emphasis is very much focused on the collaboration between European festivals. So yeah, that's the short introduction from my side. I'm representing Creative Europe Desk Poland. That is an office that represents the Creative Europe program in Poland, and in all the countries participating in Creative Europe program. You can also find the national desks, in some countries even more than one, which you can contact if you have any questions regarding the Creative Europe program and its opportunities. So thank you once again for this wonderful invitation, for the opportunity to being here today with you. And yes, I will give the floor to the speakers of today's panel. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marcina, for your short introduction of the Creative Europe Desk in Poland. My name is Niels Ketelaars. I'm the head of programming at Go Short, the International Short Film Festival in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. And I'm also one of the representatives for Go Short at the European Short Film Network. The network that consists of 4 festivals that Judith already mentioned. And the first and the main project that we have created is the online short film platform called This Is Short. It has been running since the 1st of April, and it will continue to be online for another 12 days until the 30th of June. So if you haven't been able to check it out, please do so, because there's a lot of great films and programs on there. Our network is supported by the Creative Europe Media Program for the Film Festival Networks, as are the 3 other panelists that are with us today. So yeah, we're going to be talking about these networks and about the way they are organized, about how they work together within the networks, the members between them. We'll share some experiences, some best practices, but also some challenges, and we'll have a look at what the future might hold and the developments in regard to the role of networks in the film festival circuit. Please feel free to join the discussion by entering your questions in the chat box. Also, if you really want to join the discussion because you have some urgent matters you want to put to our panelists, you can request access to the meeting to Juditha, and she will let you in, so you can really join our meeting. So now we'll hear some of the experiences from the panelists, and I would like to ask all of you to give a short introduction of yourself and your the festival that you work for and the network that you are connected to. And I would like to ask Masha to start. So Masha, please take the floor.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. We are very happy to be part of this panel, but in general, we are very happy that we can share our experience about networking in terms of the festivals, as we believe, and this is a really great opportunity to step up in the way how we do the business. The logic, our network is called the Network of Film Festivals in the Adriatic region. We cover part of the countries that were on the territories of the former Yugoslavia that have a common language. So we are covering Bosnia Herzegovina, Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. The network was established by Sarajevo Film Festival, which is a leading film festival in the Southeast Europe. We have decided to team up together. On one hand, we have been collaborating with all of these festivals in past, and these festivals among themselves. And the call was something, let's say, it was a trigger for deeper thinking, how can we work together? And this is how we actually started. The idea of the network is actually to work on the audience development on one hand, because we are sharing the same audience, not only due to the language, but it's like very regionally connected. So our network is very regionally focused. We have the joint program that will run on each of the festivals. And the other very strong focus of our network is how to scale up the operational management of the festivals, as we believe as the festival with our capacities that we can share and help other festivals in the region to become more efficient in their ways of working. So this was the initial two pillars of collaboration that we wanted to focus, is how to be better and how to have more audience across the region.
Thank you. Masha, maybe also shortly, what are the activities that you have already established, and what are your the general plans for the network in regard to the activities that you plan?
Thanks. So basically, we have several of activities, but the one that is the most visible one is definitely a joint program. So we have two sections that we are organizing. One is it's called European Discovery. That is the films from the low and mid production capacity countries that usually would not be distributed in cinemas, and those are all fiction. And on the other hand, we have a joint program that focuses on cultural heritage. It's called Yugoslav Classics. So we are showing the films that have been that have new copies and giving it new highlight on the films from the past, because it's quite tricky in our sense of who the films are or how the cultural heritage can be shared in this new setup of new countries. So the idea was to have these two programs run from the first festival that starts in August, that is Montenegro Film Festival, and then to go to Sarajevo Film Festival, and then to go to Zagreb Film Festival, and in the end to Otor Film Festival that is in Belgrade. But for us, from the start of the program, which started in January, we decided to have a, let's say, a test version of our collaboration. So we did an online festival. It was called Spring Break Festival in April. So we used our platform and we have showcased 9 films. 7 were in this category of European discovery, and 2 were part of the Yugoslav classics. And we did with all the filmmakers, directors talks, recorded it, translated it, and especially for the Yugoslav talks, we had an hour-long sessions with these authors speaking about their career. So it, in a way, it's kind of a masterclass series for the Yugoslav classics. So we kind of tested out the collaboration, how it would work before actual activities, like the joint activities towards the audience. The other activities are being handled inside of the network, like creation of a joint program for the audience development and for film critics from the region. So this is something that's being, created throughout the year. But with this, we didn't want to wait August for the first audience experience. We wanted to see how we can actually collaborate.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you later. Second, I want to invite Andrea to introduce yourself and the Moving Images Open Borders network.
Yes, thank you very much for the mic, and thank you so very much for having me here in the panel as well. I'm very happy about that, to share information, but also to learn from the others as well. Since for all of us, it's still, I guess, a very new project, that this kind of network work is a very structured one now, and not only just an informal thing that's happening. So my name is Andrea, and I'm working at Film Festival Cottbus, Festival of East European Cinema here in Germany, and I'm the project manager here, and also Cottbus is the coordinator of the festival network Moving Images Open Border, short MIO. There you go. And while I'll tell you a little more about our network, I will share my, no, somehow it's not working now at the moment. Then I will just, as you can see here in the background, we have a web page, which is miop.info. So if you do want to inform yourselves a little more about our network and what we do, please feel free just to click on our site and hop through it. So our network consists of 7 members, which are Crossing Europe Film Festival Lenz in Austria, European Film Festival College in Serbia, and Film Festival Cottbus in Germany, Blizzard European Film Festival in France, Skanorama Film Festival, European Film Forum Vilnius in Lithuania, Seville European Film Festival in Spain, and last but not least, of course, Trieste Film Festival in Italy. And basically what connects us and is just the focus on, of course, European cinema, but also the focus on the young European cinema and the longing to support young filmmakers and connecting them on also our industry events, which all of us either have formally as a market or informally just being a European meeting point of the industry as well. What do we do? Well, we do a lot of things. I guess all of us do in the network, and we try to divide our activities and activities that are sharing the competence, the experiences of us within the network, but also creating workshops that are directed to external interested people, such as, for example, young journalists who will be introduced basically into the world of film festivals and how to write and behave in this kind of context. And also another workshop that we just had in the beginning of this week was our Green Strategies workshop, which is about being green as a film festival, and not as a single film festival, of course, the individual one, but also the whole festival market. So our goal is here to create a charter, which we then open up to all interested festivals to become part of the activity, and not only being part in the sense of like subscribing to it, but also being part of developing this green charter as we go, basically. So it's a very exciting project, which is very future directed, and which we are all very excited to have started. And we will talk about it as soon as the charter is a little more developed. But yeah, so far that's it for that topic. And other workshops that we've gone through is about gender programming, diversity programming, which will be carried out from the Crossing Europe Film Festival Lenz. This is still going to happen in autumn this year. And other workshops that we've already had, as I said, was the Green Strategies workshop. Then we've had two workshops which revolved around basically the audience. First one was more from the PR side of it and how to handle, especially during those crisis communication times that we've all had. And the other one was more about the online relations that all of us have to deal with. And then, of course, in the beginning of the year, when everything started, we did a kickoff workshop to just center our focus of the network, how we want to work, how we want to present ourselves toward not only the audience and other film festivals, but also in regards to funders and sales. And in addition to that, and then I'll stop because I know my time is basically over. And in addition to that, we do have 2 awards that we've created because, of course, we want to not only support the industry in terms of the Green Charter and the young journalists, but also the filmmakers themselves. And we have one feature film award, which is called New Vision Award. This actually already happened, and we do have a very first winner this year, and she was awarded during the award ceremony of Crossing Europe. And we have another award which is actually running at the moment because it started in the beginning of June and it will end in mid-October. It's an online audience award where they can watch and vote short films. In total, it's 15 short films that are competing, and we are very excited to be able to award them during the film festival Cottbus. That's it from our side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Really, I think we'll get back to the workshop that you mentioned about organizing your network, because I think that's something that we have all found quite challenging, and we'll get back to that later. I hope you can share some of your ideas or some of the things that you addressed in that workshop to us. But first, I would like to ask Ana Pereira to tell us a little bit about her work for the Doc Alliance network.
Sure. Hi. I want to also thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. So I'll try to be quick. So I work in Doc Lisboa, which is the biggest documentary film festival in Portugal that usually takes place in October during 11 days. And within the Doc Lisboa Festival, I coordinate our partnership with the Doc Alliance project, the Doc Alliance network, that has been running for a long couple of years now. So the Doc Alliance is a network between also 7 festivals, documentary film festivals. between the CPH docs from Denmark, Doc Leipzig from Germany, Doc Lisboa, Feed Marseille in France, Ihlava from Czech Republic, Millennium Docs from Warsaw in Poland, and Vision du Réel from Switzerland. That is not a media country, but is one of the founders of the Alliance. So actually the Doc Alliance network began in 2008 by the end of 5 of its members. So Germany, Denmark, Czech Republic, and Poland and Switzerland festivals. Then 3 years later, France was added to the group, so Feed Marseille joined, and 2 years after we entered as well in 2013. So we were the last member of the Alliance. This network has been focused especially on the promotion of younger filmmakers, European documentary filmmakers, and to achieve and to give more opportunities to the filmmakers. The Alliance has been working in 2 main projects. So one of them is the VOD platform called dafilms.com that is completely dedicated to documentary film. And it presents a huge catalog of documentary films, but also, and which is a very interesting work that we do, is that the platform also presents curated programs every 2 weeks or weekly maybe, and most of these programs can be curated by the festivals or have some kind of link between the programs of each festival. So it's also a way to either promote the films that we screen and the filmmakers that we support, but it's also a chance for audiences to get closer to each festival. The second activity is the Doc Alliance selection, in which each of the festivals nominate 1 film to run for the Doc Alliance Awards that we have also created. So each year 7 films run to this award. And these nominees should also be first feature films. Yeah, and then additionally, all the festivals have like this section within their programs, the Doc Alliance section, where they all screen between 3 or the 7 films of the selection. So this is just another way to, you know, circulate the films and give them, you know, other opportunities of visibility in all the 7 countries in Europe. Yeah, so basically this is what we do in the network.
Okay, thank you, Anna. To stay with you, because Doc Alliance has been existing for quite some time already, long before the media call for networks was published, and the networks that we are part of, and MEOP and from the networks from the Adriatic region, they have been created more or less in regard to this call, and you have been around for a longer time. Can you tell us a little bit how the organization of your network is structured? Because I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we are facing in the last year, is how to combine working for your own festival and working for the network, and how to keep a healthy relation in between them. And well, you have been experiencing this for a longer time, so we hope to learn from your experience.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot that the network began in in a more informal way. I mean, when I say informal way, what I mean is it was born out of the common interest and the common will to do something more for documentary filmmakers. That in 2008 was, the opportunities for documentary were completely different than nowadays. So I think it helped a lot that this common will made these 5 festivals to create something to help promoting European documentary itself. Along the years, and it's also important to say that because of that, and because there was no media support for this work, or at least there were media supports for the films platform, but not for the Doc Alliance project itself. So basically the project was financed by the festival's own resources. So I think it helped a lot, to that the project was really based on the will to do this. So yeah, so in that sense, all the festivals really worked in a horizontal way, so to speak, in the sense that they worked together towards something. And in the last year, with the financing of the network, what we felt was that we were able to make the network grow. So now this year we are trying a new networking project between all of the members of the teams of the festivals, and also we were able to create a new Doc Alliance Award for short films. So this is the first year that we're also promoting short films. So yes, I don't know if I kind of
yeah, no, it's very interesting that, because you say like the organization grew organically, so to speak, like there was a will from the festivals to join in a network, and it kind of grew gradually. Yeah. Whereas I think for our networks, we grow very quickly to a formal network. Masha, maybe you can say a little bit about how your network is structured, because Sarajevo is, I think, the initiator of the network, or at least the leader. And how does that? What position do you, as a representative from Sarajevo, have in this network?
Well, our network, apart of the fact that it's, I would say, only a regional network that it's supported in this call. So this is something that's been quite important for us. It's smaller than the other networks, so we are only 4 festivals. And the scale between the festivals is quite different. I mean, between Sarajevo and the other 3 festivals, but these 3 festivals, Zagreb Film Festival and Other Film Festival from Belgrade, are quite same in the number of films that they show, and the Montenegro Film Festival is the smallest one, but we have a very similar curation practices. So this is something that there's so many festivals in the region, and actually the curation practices between the festivals was something for us to go to partner with these festivals. So it was very important for us to see the similarities between the programs that we have and the promotion of the talents and the films that we aim to do on all of our sides. So what I didn't mention is when talking about the joint programs that we have, we also, I think, more or less all of these networks have this award in some kind of sense, and we decided to do it a bit differently. We have also an audience award for the films, but in the end, the award is actually meant for distributors, so that the film that's been voted the most, let's say, will end up in cinemas. So this was kind of our twist in terms of how to actually spread the network. And now we are also working with several cinemas to see if we can also kind of have a, let's say, cross networking between network of festivals and network of cinemas. But this is something that we are just starting to speak, also to have cinemas in the region that will also have their own joint, let's say, agenda. So we are trying to see how, because we are aware of it, that our territories are so small, and the only way how to reach bigger audiences is to work together. So this is the whole aim of our networking on one hand. The structure of network, it is intended to be horizontal. So each of the festivals have its own, let's say, a main task, let's say. So each of the, so it's connected between the activities that we execute and activities and responsibilities. So that this is the interlinking. But on the other hand, we as a leader of the project, we do oversee the process, but it is somebody is responsible and for, let's say, the program for film critics, or the other festival is responsible for the whole agenda and programming for the audience development. So it's really we decided to make it like this work. And I think the selection committee it's joint, so all of the, I mean, it works that each festival has its own programmer, and they make the joint decisions about film together. So there's no saying who. It's a joint process.
How is that for you, Andrea? What are your do you have any insights already of the past year, how to structure it, or what you could have done better maybe in structuring the network? Because you're also with 7 members, which is quite a challenge, I think.
Yes, so 7 festivals being in one network, it might not sound much, but it actually is a lot. So I think I can just agree with Masha that we have the same thing, that we try to give every festival the same amount of responsibility, so everyone is involved into this network. And there won't be anyone either feeling left out or not as into the network, because that's what the network is about, right? So everyone is trying to share and participate, and we don't like in those networks, we actually don't need inactive members, like we're not a sports club or anything. So yes, so every member is doing either a workshop and or an award, and we as coordinator also are responsible for the PR of the network. And so I think even though everyone is very into the network, because of all of us being very busy with the individual festivals and with the individual projects, it sometimes is a little hard to gather information, for example, or to spread information and to have quick discussions, because there's still such thing as a quick discussions among a festival network. And yeah, so we still have to find the sweet spot of what do we share via email, for example, what do we do by the electronic communication and in a written form, and what do we do via having like a Zoom meeting, for example. And then also finding like the time where everyone actually has the time for the Zoom meeting is also then very difficult. So Yeah, but I guess since all of us are very into it, we do manage to solve the issues then, but it does take a little longer than you might than you are maybe used to as working as an individual festival.
What would you say? Like, what's the most challenging in keeping the network going, or realizing the activities? Is that the communication, or is it time management?
Yeah, I guess the most difficult one is
or Anna or Masha, if you have any, like what you think is the most challenging. I think Anna already has.
No, I was thinking of something that Andrea was saying about finding the opportunity to meet and everything. And for instance, in Doc Alliance is really complicated because in 7 festivals, some of them are take place in summer, others in spring, others in autumn. So we have been trying along the years to meet at least once in Prague, because the network is also very supported by the Doc Dream Association that organizes Jihlava, which is the coordinator of the network. So every year we try to meet once, and it's always difficult to find the best time for all the festivals. But it's also a challenge to either find the time, because of course festivals have small things, and it's challenging to find the time and the best way to make the workflow work between all the 7. But also there's the question of the funding and the stability that festivals need to have, to know if they can, have a 1-year term project, or if they can work on a longer term, project. So I would say this is also a challenge for festivals.
Yeah, because, and I think, I believe you have the luxury of having a centralized organization. How do you benefit from that? Do they organize a lot for the network?
Yes, I mean, it's one of the biggest challenges of the networks are really how to centralize everything, and how to coordinate calendar and what has to be done and when. So it's really useful to also have the support of the association in Prague to gather all festivals and make things go forward. Yes, that's a very important aspect of the alliance also.
And you, Andrea, you said before that, when we were meeting, you said that you're planning to change the coordinator role every year, but like Anna said, you don't. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the guarantee that we will be able to continue this work for a longer time. How do you anticipate this?
Of course. Well, the plan is that, as I told you, is that that we would like to share the experience of being the coordinator, not only because we don't want to do it a longer period of time, but also when everyone, like, that's also in the sense of being equal and everyone being equally participating in the network. That's why we said we would like to share this role after a certain amount of time, maybe every year, maybe every 2 years, and then everyone being in this situation for the good and the bad. And but we will see how it develops in the future and if that's actually possible. So at the moment it's a thought, However, we will see how that's actually realistic, because of course, being the coordinator, you start creating sort of infrastructures, and then you actually have to see if it's possible to like swap them over or be continued by the other or the following coordinator, or if that's just unpractical. And yeah, so that's still a learning for us. And it also depends, of course, on how the future calls will be formulated and how their guidelines will be. Will there always be only like 1 year calls, or will they be 2 year calls, for example? Then, of course, for over a 2 year period, you will definitely be a 2 year coordinator from the beginning onward. But if it will stay for 1 year, then you would have to discuss what's more practical, being having this this alternation between every member or not.
There's a message in the chat. Andrea, can you elaborate a bit on how you see the relation between the work you do for your individual festival and the network? After all, it's extra work that has to be done by someone who also needs to be paid. How you and your network reflect on this, and how do you deal with this? And how do you expect this to be in the future?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point, and it's a very important point too, because of the structure of the call, because of being, so you as a coordinator have to be able to go like pay in advance, like a certain amount of the fund money that you get, right? So it's those 50% that, or last year it was the 50%. I know that they at least said that they want to change it to 80% being funded from the beginning onward, and then so, but we will see how that develops. And so not everyone, of course, can be coordinator who does not have this financial background. And yes, it is definitely a lot of work extra that needs to be done, a lot of hours going into it, a lot of energy going into it, and of course this financial extra that is hovering over the coordinator as well, since we have to distribute some money in advance for the participants, for the activities, and then we get the funding, and then we can, you know, settle everything. So I guess for the future, it has to be revised, this model, in order for everyone being eligible to do the coordination work. Because maybe it could be the case, for example, that you have a very well organized individual network who has the resources, like the personal resources, for example, to do this coordinating work, but can't do it because it doesn't have, maybe, for example, the legal body behind it, and thus the financial resources behind it to actually do this coordinating work. So I'm very curious, actually, how media is like forming this in the future. And since we had the coordinators of the networks had 2 meetings with some media representatives, which was very informative and very interesting. I do hope that this will go on, this very open communication between media and the networks and the festivals, because learning from one another, us from media, but also media from us, I guess that's the way to go, because then we can adjust it on the run, and then we can, over a course of a couple of years or more, then we can find a solution which will cater to the need of all, basically.
Mm. Well, I think Marcina was taking notes. So now, is anything you would like to say, Marcina?
I did. Yeah, because of, I mean, like all of you said, it's very interesting, and like, you know, like digging into the type of collaboration that you had. It's also yeah, I'm learning a lot from my side as well. But yeah, I mean, like I was kind of wondering, I mean, because you, Andrea, already said a bit about that, like that's this, the funding would be crucial for the, I mean, that's what I understood, for the network to kind of survive, because like this year, it was kind of, I mean, a new action. So like lots of you, as Niels, you said before, created the networks as such, focusing on different territories, genre, and so forth. And yeah, like how do you see it in the future? I mean, like this year, obviously there is not a call for the network, and there would be only support for individual festivals, but with a great emphasis put on the collaboration between festivals nevertheless. So so yeah, how do you feel that? I mean, even though there is no funding this year, do you think this this networks would survive? And like, do you feel, because there's also a lot of added value, as you said, of this collaboration, joint projects, and etc. So yeah, I was just wondering, how do you see that? How do you imagine the bright future?
Well, the bright future, Anna or Masha. I could say a little bit.
It's also, yeah, it's interesting question. I would like to add one thing. What Andrea was mentioning is the fact when coordinating this kind of network, and it is difficult to maintain all your activities, regular activities, and to combine them with this new workload that you have, and it's a big workload. And you cannot have a third person coming in and to start dealing with this. It has to be somebody from the team, somebody who is with enough experience, that understands very well your needs of the festivals and can understand the needs of other festivals. So in terms of how to manage the network, it's challenging in the fact that you have to divide the responsibilities between your own festival and the new responsibilities. So this is something that you have to have in mind when creating new networks, that you have to think from the beginning who is going to be the person taking this new workflow management of the project. That's one thing. But regarding the bright future, I think it's okay because we got the funding for 2021, basically. So we are all running now all our activities, and I believe the new call for the networks will also be out in timely manner. I think now with this delay, I mean, but as we have heard from media on several occasions, this is the new path. And I think that's just a question of finding the right angle that you want to partner. I think it's not about the fact to partner with as many festivals as possible or so. It's just about finding an actual angle that will be beneficial for you as a festival representative to do some networking with other festivals. It doesn't have to be at all in terms of having joint programs. It can be something completely different. So I think this is like the most important thing, to realize what aspect of your festival would need some enhancement and who could be beneficial for you and what you can share. I mean, this is the thing, basically.
Yeah, I think it's very important to balance the new ideas, new activities, new initiatives that you take on, and in to what extent the network activities can also function as a in a way that the activities that the network members already were doing. So it shouldn't be only new activities or an add-on to whatever you were doing already. It should be better intertwined. For us, I think that would be a very good way to look at it, to find a good balance, because now taking so much extra work on us as network members, it's not in relation to the funding and the money that was granted. And especially if the future is uncertain, then you're building up something completely new and big, which is then potentially all just disappearing after a while. So I think it would be a great waste if this this would not continue in the future. And I think for us, well, the network did exist already in the past few years. The European Short Film Network, it was first organized in 2017 or 18, I think. The first ideas were put to paper to organize it, but then the network call obviously gave it a quick growth, and now we've grown so big, and it would be such a shame to lose all the activities and all the experience that we've arranged. Yeah, maybe Andrea or Anna, you can say a little bit about the how you see the opportunities of the future for your network. Anna, yeah.
Yeah, I was giving the floor to Andrea. Yeah, so let's see what happens in the future. I mean, as I said, we have been working as Doc Alliance collective along the years, and we haven't been growing that much along the years because, of course, we do have our own individual festivals to run. So everything we did together was out of our own resources and effort, which I also think it's important to, ground some strong stability to the future, whether you are financed or not. And with this new funding, we were able to maybe grow a little bit and support more films and more filmmakers. And start new activities between us. But in the future, well, let's see if the funding does not continue. Yeah, maybe we will be able to maintain our activities, though in a lower level, and of course that represents more investment and more effort from the festivals themselves. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I would like to add that I think it's actually the question about the future at the moment is very hard to answer, because it definitely depends on, do we get additional funding, or do we have to pay everything out of pocket? Because then of course the activities, they will adapt to that. Of course, we already talked about next year, what we want to do in 2020. Since this year the call is not open for networks only. So we will definitely have a meeting about how we want to continue within the next year, because not everything that we started this year can be continued next year without any funding. So, and also this actually includes the awards, for example, because it's not only the prize money that we give away, but it's also the hours of nominating, the hours of collecting all the rights and organizing the screenings, and so that definitely does use a lot of resources that we, as, let's say, individual network on top, don't all have, because a lot of us are are based on fundings for the majority of their existence, basically. And yeah, so it will be just, I think the future of the festival networks, they won't, it's not that they will cease to exist. I don't believe that, because we are networks, because we want to exchange thoughts, ideas, and of course you can do that without any money. You can have calls, you can have chats, and that's going to exist in the future, definitely. And that that's not the question, but the question is the extent of, let's say, joint actions and how they will be formed. That definitely depends on funding, and that's why I think that is a question hard to answer at the moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree, and there is actually in the chat for all of us an invite to collaborate beyond Europe from Francisca Prihadi of Minikino in Indonesia. So she's open to get to know us. Juditha, do we have any other questions maybe from the audience? Because we are already at talking for an hour. Any questions? Oh, Juditha, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I said I don't see any other questions from the audience. So yeah, we can end on that, because we reached our 1 hour time. Unless you want to ask one final question, we can also finish on this like hopeful note of talking about the future of the film networks.
Yeah, no, I don't have any. Well, I have a lot of more questions, but I don't think we have any questions that will be answered within a few seconds. So if you want to add anything, Anna, Masha, or Andrea, feel free. But otherwise, I think we'll just have to wrap it up. Oh, Anna, we'll just wrap it up. Juditha, thank you for inviting us. Andrea, Anna, Masha, Martina, thank you for talking to us.
Yeah,
thank you too.
Thank you very much to all the participants. Thank you very much, Niels, for leading a great discussion. Thank you very much to Marzena, who I think also it was very nice to have you and to have this interaction between the both sides. So it was very informative, and thank you to all our attendees and participants, and yeah, it was great to have you.
Thank you very much for
Thank you very much.